Guys, you are not going to believe this. I'm giggling like a little schoolgirl. I was just going to Maddie. This is exactly where we stopped last night for the stellatus, because I noticed this fallen over thing. So I'm busy looking that way, and she goes, stop, 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 Thorny Devil. I'm like, yeah, whatever. It's a Thorny Devil. Look at him. How cool is that? Oh, that is ripper, guys. Oh my word. Now, as I've been saying, this is not originally where we were planning to come. We were heading up to Windora, but we just basically been chasing the good weather. And we were in Broken Hill, and Jesse messaged me, gotta go down to South Australia. The Thorny Devils are going crazy. There's been 2 or 3 people on Instagram that have been finding 5 Thorny Devils a day. And I was like, oh, I don't want to drive down there and not get one. And he's like, go, go, go. So we went, and we got our stellatus, and we got our Thorny Devil. My word. Now here he is, our little Thorny Devil. So we've brought him up off the road away from cars, because he was even close to my car. He's a bit of a zippy dude, like he runs around. I didn't realise how fast they were. Now they're a super interesting lizard. I honestly cannot believe this thing. He's like a little alien. He actually won't stay still. But you can have a look. You see this knob, this second knob he's got on the top of his head, that'll act as a fake head. So if a predator comes at him, he'll sort of drop his real head down and put that, so I guess the predator will bite the fake head rather than his real head, and then he lives to fight another day. But along with that, all of his spikes, I didn't know if they were soft like bearded dragon spikes and all for show, but no, these things are actually proper spiky. They'd give a predator a good poke in the face, that's for sure. And he's real zippy little dude too. And his colors are actually stunning. It's like a lime green with reds and oranges, yellows and browns mottled throughout. Depending on the weather, it's quite warm now. It's about that 28, 29 degree mark. So his colors can be nice and bright. He doesn't need to soak up as much sun. On a cooler day, much like a bearded dragon, they can really darken those colors to absorb a lot more heat. The other incredibly fascinating thing with these guys is due to how these guys' scales are laid out, capillary action, so movement with the scales, and gravity, they can catch water in most places on their body, and it'll eventually funnel down the body, down the neck, and into the lizard's mouth. So when they're out in these really dry habitats, they can still get water quite easily. Another interesting fact, they pretty much feed on ants. So they'll look at him running away. Yeah, they'll go and sit in sort of an ant trail and just bloop, 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 just pick off thousands and thousands of ants a day. And that's their main food source, which is pretty interesting because he's not a small lizard, so justifiably he needs a hell of a lot of ants to keep him going. Now, I'm not going to hassle him much more. I'll get a few close-ups and then we'll keep going because, I don't know, we're having a lot of luck on this trip, so I wouldn't be surprised if we get another couple. We still need a shingleback salmon. We need the normal stuff. We're getting all our fancy stuff, but we need some normal animals. The more common stuff. I never get sick of seeing the common stuff, but yeah, this is absolutely wild. It's actually hilarious. His feet make these little pitter-patter sounds as he runs through the sand. It's like... Alrighty, off you go, buddy. Keep going. Alrighty, see you, buddy. You have been an absolute pleasure. We'll go see if we can find any of your brothers and sisters. How well does he camouflage into these spiky plants too? Look at that, if you're walking past, you'd never actually see him unless you heard him. Nothing more incredible than our native Australian reptiles camouflage. It's just next level. All right, see you, buddy. Let's keep going. Guys, there is a crested dragon out here in the beautiful South Australian Mallee. Now I've just been walking around behind this guy through the grass tussocks. He is so quick. I don't think we're going to get much closer to him. He's like, doosh, 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 doosh. I'm lucky he's just perched up there. He was basking on the road as we were coming past and then shot straight into the scrub. I'll try creep a little bit closer because I'd love to get a good look at him. He's got these beautiful stripes down his tail, colours up his neck and onto his head. He's got these little crests on the top of his head. He's absolutely gorgeous. He's a good looking lizard. We'll try to get a little bit closer. That's his little clump. I took one step and he's shot off into there. I dare say he is gone. Ah, bugger, what a shame. That's all right. There was actually two out on the road. One shot into his little burrow in the side of the grading of the road there. You could see his little head sticking out, but as soon as we got close, he popped back in. We'll keep cruising this road, see what else we can pull up. At least that means the reptiles are out, so we need to get a closer look at those guys, but they're just too damn quick. So we've already had much success this morning. We've just been driving up right through the guts of the Mallee here, and we've come to a place called Secret Rocks. I didn't realise it was a place you could actually come into, but there's a predator-proof fence all around to keep destructive herbivores out, so goats, kangaroos, whatever else is destroying the scrubby bushes and whatnot. It says it's a 10-kilometre radius, pure sort of land, and we've got some signage behind us which is going to tell us what is in here. We probably won't see much because I would say it's mostly nocturnal things that are hiding in here. But what have we got? Oh, these things are absolutely epic. I've read about these before. So the Felix squirt. So this thing, it detects the exact shape of a cat. If something else walks past, even that resembles some kind of small mammal, it knows it's not a cat. But when a cat walks past, shoots out the poison, the feral cat licks the poison off them and they die, so they can no longer go out and kill our reptiles and our small mammals and marsupials, like our little dunarts. What else we got? Our crested dragons, we need to get a closer look at them. Our bandicoots are going to be safe. We got mallee fowl in here. Tom eating numbats. Oh wow, that'd be incredible to see. I don't know how hard they are to spot. And then yeah, we got all our different vegetations, so we'll go around, have a look. Most of those animals are nocturnal, so I don't think we'll spot anything, but we've got this big cool rocky landscape here, so we'll go for a bit of a walk and have a look around anyway. So there we go, there's our Thorny Devil from before. Our Stellatus we got last night. Oh, we're just killing it here. Mallee fowl, dunarts, some legless lizards. We haven't spotted a Delma yet. Hopefully that'll be one for tonight. This also says a little bit about the Barngala Aboriginal people that use these rock holes. Apparently there's a lot of rock holes up on this outcrop which collected a lot of water and gave them a water source. And it says because of these water sources, they started farming it because it was good for their livestock. So that's why they've blocked it off to bring it back to life. So we're just reading the signs here. Oh yeah, so here you go. So you can see how the water would travel down the rock here and it eventually reaches these pools, which would have been, oh, there's a big Tenotus here. There's a big some kind of skink just chilling out. I don't know what kind of skink he is. A ripper little dude. How cool is that? He's scurried back under the grasses there. But yeah, here's the natural rock holes which would have been used by the Aboriginal people and also the animals of the region. And then when the farmers and whatnot came along, they decided to try and get it to bank up some more water. So they've built these, this is 1800s mind you, they've built these walls around the natural holes just out of stone so that it collects more water. Couple around here. They're actually really deep, the rock holes. That's really cool. Right down deep in there. And it's still moist in there at the moment. Hence why our little lizard was in there. And you come across here and some more European walls just to collect that much more water. There's obviously none at the moment, but after rain that will become quite a pool and hold water for a decent amount of time. Oh wow, look at this one up here. It's cool to see the plants and the trees growing in such little soil as well. The small amounts of soil that have ended up in the rocks, and then you get a tree like that being able to grow out of it. Oh wow, okay. This really is perfect. We've still got some water in this one. So the others are bone dry, so that shows how much this particular pool would collect, because that's still got a little bit of depth to it. Incredibly, incredibly cool. Super cool. You can see the outside of the predator-proof fence here. These things are absolutely essential in protecting our native wildlife, flora and fauna in certain sections. So you can see the fencing comes out along the ground, which stops anything from pushing underneath it, digging it underneath it. We've got an electric fence section, and then up over the top, it comes back. So it'll stop the cats climbing up. They get there and they can't get through. These fencing reserves are absolutely amazing. There's one being created at the moment. I think the fencing's actually done, and there's already bettongs in there potentially in Western Sydney in Shane's Park area, which is gonna be absolutely incredible. Over the next few years, they'll slowly continue to introduce more animals. There's gonna be koalas, phascogales, they'll probably put some reptiles in there, some frogs. Yeah, it's just gonna be incredible, incredible project. Much like this one here is. I'm releasing numbats into this area, the South Australian mallee. Let's keep going. So we popped out the other side once we passed Secret Rocks, back out of the mallee and onto the highway. We hit a little town out the side. We got some lunch. There was a big glass statue. I should have got a picture or something to show you guys. But yeah, got a bit of a feed there, and we thought, oh, it is getting a bit warm. We didn't see a large amount of reptiles, so we thought we'd hit the tarmac to get back to Whyalla rather than back on the road, because my brains are shaking out and the car's falling apart. It is quite a rough road. This side of it was a lot better, but back towards Whyalla it was very, very rough. And we already ticked off our Thorny Devil, which was the main part to go to that specific spot. But as we were heading back up the highway, I just seen a sign pointing to Lake Gillies Conservation Area. It looks really, really cool actually. All your spinifex, tussocks, you got sand, and then this big salt lake, which we pop out here, which is very, very empty at the moment. I actually thought where it changed colour over there was water, but I don't think there's any water at all. I think it's proper empty. Lake Gillies was once a shallow freshwater lake formed between 23 and 5 million years ago, when the climate was wetter than it is today. Lake Gillies produces some of the most unusual forms of gypsum crystals in the world, including hourglass and arrowhead-shaped crystals. And here's our very, very empty lake. I was hoping it'd be a little bit cooler down here, so if we came down we'd get some dragons running around, but nope, it is hot. Hot, dry, and definitely not wet. Oh wow. That's weird. That's like a proper salty sort of top and the sand's underneath. How strange. Oh, it's wet under here. Suppose you can see there where the moisture's still sitting. Must have had water in it not too long ago, unless it just stays wet all the time. But yeah, interesting. I thought it felt like salt, so I got myself a little chunky. Definitely salty. Now guys, mind the wind, but this is probably the absolute craziest, wildest, gnarliest thing about Outback South Australia here. So as you've seen, red dirt, spinifex, mallee, it's proper Outback Australia bush. We're back in town. We've just driven through a different road through the mallee, and look where it meets up. South Australia, where the desert literally meets the ocean. It's incredible. It's not like anything I've seen before. It's actually wild. Absolutely beautiful spot too, right down the bottom of the country. So this is a big inlet. I don't know what you'd actually call it. So we're right on the bottom here, and we go this sort of inlet. It's huge. I don't know what you'd actually call it, but it goes right up to Port Augusta, and it's sort of like this big triangle shaped cutout at the bottom of Australia where we are. You can see the other side over the water there, and then down here, that's literally ocean. That goes out to Antarctica. That's gone. That is away. It's just insane, the contrast of the outback to the ocean. It's mind-boggling. Unfortunately, we didn't find anything else. I might try and get back out there early in the morning. Depends how late we are tonight and if I can get out of bed. That's normally a struggle. But we are back out here road cruising, and we got our first little devil for the night. Well, I shouldn't say little devil because you'd think I got another Thorny Devil. When in fact we have another Ranger's stone gecko. Much smaller than our one from last night. And again, he's got a regenerated tail. And he is a small little dude. The comparison of him there next to my hand. Probably half the size of the one we found last night, but I'm really enjoying these geckos. They're very, very cool, very cute. Cool patterning on the top of the head too. Ripper little dude. Honestly, I'll never ever get over the scalations and the patterns on our Aussie geckos. They are just out of this world. Their eyes are always so beautiful. Awesome animals, very, very overlooked. Alrighty, buddy, you're off the road now, so why don't you keep running this way. Off you go, little fella. Off you go. Oh, and they always crack me up the way they run, flailing their arms and legs in the air. Crack ups. Alright, we need redemption with the snakes. Come on, guys, let's go. So, our second little gecko for the night, and yes, he is another little gecko. Anyone guess what he is? Look at the spines on the tail, up the body, and notice no eyelashes. So, spines on the tail, he's a spiny-tailed gecko. No eyelashes. He's an intermedius, Stropurus intermedius, the southern spiny-tailed gecko. In the video from a couple of weeks ago when we were in Broken Hill, you would have seen the spiny-tailed gecko with the eyelashes. That is our Ciliaris, our northern spiny-tailed gecko. Whereas we also found this guy a few weeks before that around the Hillston, Lake Cargelligo area. And yeah, ripper little individuals. The patterns do vary quite a bit, especially depending on size, but very beautiful little individual. And when I say little, I mean little. How good is the colouring on the eye of this animal? With the yellows there. Sorry, he's so small, sorry for the shaking. His little mouth and the beautiful patterns running down his body. Following down with his little dinosaur spikes. Alrighty. Off you go, buddy. Off the road. Keep going. Off you go. And guys, have a look at this little cracker. Our luck has changed on the snake front, on the elapid front. We have our first little snake for the night. Well, first that you guys have seen anyway. You gonna show us your thing? There he goes. This is a Jan's banded snake. Now when I was running up to him, I thought he may have been one of the shovel-nosed snakes. There's 2 species of shovel-nosed snakes in the area. You would have seen the coral snake, which is in that family, in my Brigalow videos, but no, we have a Jan's banded snake in a completely different genus. I may butcher it, but these guys are in the Simosilaps family, and they're pretty widespread over the west coast of Australia. We're sort of at the very eastern part of his range, to be honest. They start around here where we are in Wyalla and go all the way to the west coast of Australia. What a stunning, stunning little snake. Aren't those colours and patterns phenomenal? The oranges, the blacks, the yellows throughout. Look at that. And then he's got the most interesting little head pattern. The head is actually how I knew he wasn't a shovel-nosed snake, because those guys have the pointy beak on the end of their face, whereas this guy definitely doesn't. He's got sort of a very flat, broad head, to be honest, with these beady little eyes. And how different is the head pattern with the browns and the whites in contrast to the rest of the body? What a pretty, pretty little snake. One of the most beautiful snakes I've ever seen. Now these guys are a venomous species, but they feed entirely on skinks. Now they're probably virtually harmless to humans, but as of all our lappers, all our venomous snakes, you don't want to cop a bite from them. But at the same time, they don't want to bite you. They only want to bite you if you're food, and they know we are way too big for food. So I could spend the night with this guy, but we have hassled him more than enough. So we're going to get him off the road, send him down into the scrub here. You can see how those oranges and blacks would just help him disappear into the red dirt of Outback Australia. He's actually burying underground there. Very, very interesting. Look at that. He's almost entirely underground. You can see him just popping out. Almost exactly like a fossorial shovel-nosed snake. Very, very interesting. You would never, ever spot that walking past. Goodbye, my little friend. That is epic. And of course, of course, our night is not over yet. Oh, not under the car. Hey. Not under the car, buddy. Our night is not over yet. We have our first South Australian thick-tailed gecko, Underwatersaurus milli. Still the same species we get at home, and the same species that was up in Broken Hill and Lake Cargelligo, actually. He's a nice looking little gecko. He's got his full original tail there. I wonder if they're grumpy here, like in Lake Cargelligo. No, more like the Sydney ones, just prone to running away.